What is up, y'all? We're back with another Terrifier 3 video. Before we get into it, definitely smash the like button because it definitely helps. And make sure you're subscribed to the channel. So, over the past couple of days, I've been watching a lot of Terrifier 3 interviews with David, Lauren Lavera, and Damien. And something that Damien said in one of his recent interviews, he said, you know, that Cineverse basically wanted him to keep the movie under 2 hours or whatever. But it pushes 2 hours and 5 minutes. But the extended cut was 2 hours and 25 minutes. He talks about how he's open to, you know, letting us see those scenes because he put a lot of work in those, and he said a lot of things went on in those scenes, and he gets into how these scenes kind of surround Sienna and Gabby, and you know, them building up, you know, their relationship as cousins and things in the story and things like that. And then I want to say he brings up this scene with, it's Gabby and Victoria at the end, I want to say the final act. And I want to say this, with a mind like Damien, man, that silver line is very thin with him. So I wonder if it was like a scene with like torture involved, or similar to like, you know, how Victoria was with Sienna saying all these mean things. But it kind of felt like that at the end, you know, a couple scenes were missing and things like that. But he did that because Cineverse told him, you know, he has to cut down on it. So yeah, I could just imagine it was probably like a scene where Victoria was coming after Gabby or something in the final act. And it was probably, you know, a brutal scene because he seemed like he really wanted to show us that. So I'm hoping that we get this extended cut in the future or something like that, because he seems that, you know, a little bummed that he couldn't show us. But he also touches on the scene with her mother, Jessica. Now, you know, this scene was one of the craziest scenes in the Terrifier franchise for me, with the rats coming out the neck and just the vomit and stuff like that. But he talks about what we seen in Terrifier 3 was just subliminal. It wasn't nothing, because that scene was going to be worse. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, man, it's starting to get scary with Damien, bro. The fact that he said that the scene with Sienna's aunt Jessica was going to be worse, how do you get past that? You know what I'm saying? With the glass tube in the throat, and then he's mouthing it down her throat, and he sticks the rats in there and he cuts and they come out. I don't know how he was possibly going to top that, but he's saying like, yes, that scene that we seen like in theaters, that was basically just subliminal to what the scene was going to actually be. He says that the scene had a lot of more things involved in it, and it went on longer. So I would have loved to see what happened with that, just because now my mind is wondering. Now, I mean, I already wanted to see the extended cut, just because he said, like, you know, it was 2 hours and 25 minutes originally, and he had scenes with, you know, things with like Sienna and Gabby and Victoria and Gabby, and I would love to see it. I'm pretty sure he had some scenes with Art in it, but he just didn't want to kind of overstep with the runtime and things like that. And like I said, it's a petition going on right now with Terrifier 3, you know, in the extended cut, basically saying they'll put it in theaters around Christmas time for us to see the, you know, the re-release and extended cut. I hope we get that, like, seriously, because I want to see that, man. And he seems, like I said, like these scenes were very much, you know, detailed and exciting, because he touches on that. Well, yeah, I'll show it to you guys, because I feel like, you know, a lot of work went into those scenes and they're just sitting around now. So I hope, you guys, that we get that extended cut of Terrifier 3, you know, maybe on the DVD, if anything. But like I said, I feel like at the end of the day, what Damien said is true. He's just trying to tell his story. It's not filler or anything like that. Like, you gotta think, Art the Clown, one of his kills is like almost like a performance, bro. Like, it's like, you know, a stage, and you know, he's playing with his food, foreplay, all types of shit. And then he does that with a lot of his kills. And you know, Michael and Jason and Freddy, they don't do things like that. They kind of get straight to the point. So that kind of plays in the runtime too. You know, Art the Clown, he's just not any slasher. He has like this charm to him where he does things, and you know, he's funny, and he likes, you know, the build up and everything. And he does a lot of stuff on the side besides killing. Now, to get into a little bit of more everything with this, he touches on that he has a whole list of kills that he wants to complete with Art the Clown. Like, he has like list on list of kills he wants to complete with Art the Clown. And he talks about, you know, he wants to put Art the Clown in some more situations, because he feels like, you know, he has a lot of volumes to him, which I can see that. You know, Art the Clown been in a lot of different situations, and see how Art the Clown reacts to these situations. So he touched on like, yeah, the fourth movie, you know, it could be the end, but in all reality, he's saying it could be 2 more movies left. He's not going to stop making Terrifier, you know, if the story's not being told. He's not going to just stuff everything and get it over with. He's basically going to take his time, and if it comes to be out a couple more movies because he's telling this story, then it's going to be a couple more movies. And you know, he feels like Art the Clown has a lot of life to him, which I think that too. I think he can be, you know, one of those slashers that can be in a lot of films. I mean, if Ghostface can have that many films, I'm pretty sure Art the Clown can knock off those many films. So yeah, he's basically saying that he has a big story to tell with Art, and he found out the plot and had it all mapped out for the ending with Sienna and Art in Terrifier 2. So he knows the ending. He's just seeing like how many films is going to take him to get there. And to be honest, at first I thought Terrifier 4 was going to be the last one, but the way, you know, Damien is wording things, it kind of seems like it might not be, because he talks about, you know, at the end of Terrifier 3 with this Empire Strikes Back type of ending, that it kind of leads into Sienna being on this mission. Like I talked to you guys, you know, in previous videos about, you know, with her being able to go out and find this woman with the Ninth Circle book, the Arthur and everything, to kind of help her get down into the layers of hell. You know, with the Ninth Circle being the worst layer of hell, that's the closest you get to Satan. So I'm pretty sure she's going to probably link up with that Arthur with the book with the Ninth Circle, and then go from there and then try to find Art. And he also talks about what I said, possibly confirmed, how Art the Clown, he no longer has power. So they're going back to square one, where Art is not immortal. He's not immortal in Terrifier 4. So it's going to be like human versus human until Sienna gets that sword or Art gets his powers back, if he does. But it's seeming like we're going back to Terrifier 1 for real this time with Terrifier 4. And he's just out there, he's just a simple serial killer. But that doesn't mean anything, because Art the Clown is very brutal. He's very brutal no matter what. And you're going to have to get your hands on him at a point. He definitely is very, you know, different from other slashers. So that's going to be very interesting to see Art the Clown not have powers. You know what I'm saying? He's like really on serial killer mode, and maybe he does get a new host, because that's what it's all about. Him getting a new host and him getting, you know, something that can power him up and just be, you know, his right hand person. Now pushing forward, we all know Jonathan could possibly be dead, but I thought about this also, like, what if Jonathan is Sienna's entity, like, but he's just a good entity? You know what I'm saying? If he's dead, you know how Art had Victoria and the Pale Girl. What if this entity goes over to Sienna? You know, Jonathan, they both have these entities, like, you know, Art has the evil, Sienna has the good. So it's like a good versus evil thing. I think that would be cool now that I think about it. But I could be wrong. Maybe Jonathan's not dead. You know, maybe he's not. I mean, Damien hasn't touched on it or nothing like that. I mean, why would he? But it seems like, yeah, Jonathan could possibly be dead, or he could possibly not be dead. But I think it'd be cool to see, you know, him go over to help his sister in the end. You know, he's a part of the entity, and it kind of has that full circle moment. But it seems like, who knows what might happen in Terrifier 4. That might be another, you know, story that kind of is connecting pieces, or it can be the end. But the way he's, you know, going about things right now, it seems like we got a couple more movies with Art the Clown, possibly, long as this story kind of leads into those. Now I want to talk about this also. I feel like in Terrifier 4 it's going to be a lot of religion out there now, a lot of like a projected religion, because we see at the end with Sienna's uncle hung on a wall, like in crucifixion style, and we see a lot of things with the thorns on Sienna's head, and it's almost like it's kind of foreshadowing things like with demons and God and things like that. I think we're going to get a lot of more of that religion in Terrifier 4, because to be honest, religion surrounds this story. You know, even with the Ninth Circle, with Hell being involved and Sienna being an angel warrior, and Victoria, Pale Girl, and Art being demons. So I think it's going to be something where a lot of things are revealed from that angle. You know, I heard a lot of crazy speculation where people think that Sienna's dad is Art the Clown, or he's setting Sienna up. Personally, I think Sienna's dad, he just knew what was going to happen. He just simply prepared her, and he knew through his comics. And those characters he's responsible for, and that's why, you know, he knows a lot of the things that's going on, to be honest. Now, pushing forward with Gabby, the character Gabby, I think that Gabby, she's going to definitely be in the pits of hell, and that mission that Damien's talking about in these interviews is going to be Sienna going back to get Gabby. But it's not going to be easy to get Gabby, because she's down there with demons that are similar to Art the Clown, or possibly Art the Clown. I mean, does the bus take, you know, Art the Clown to hell? Because I don't know. Either way, Art the Clown is not the same Art the Clown that we've seen in Terrifier 3 and Terrifier 4. He's going to be completely different. From my knowledge, he's not going to have any powers unless he finds a new host. And yeah, I think that this one's going to be very interesting, because it's going to be kind of similar to like that Laurie and Michael type of thing. No supernatural stuff going on. And Damien said he wanted to explore that supernatural route to just open a lot of more doors for the long longevity of this franchise, you know. So, because that's true. Once you go into the supernatural realm of things, anything is possible, you know. So that's very smart of him. But to go back to square one is a little scary because we know that Art the Clown is basically regular. He's a regular human. But we know with Sienna and everything, if she gets this sword, that's, you know, what's going to take Art the Clown out, and possibly them doing it down there in hell as, you know, the venue of the final act or something like that. I think that's the whole formula to taking Art the Clown out, you know, kind of leaving him where he comes from. I think that we possibly will see another entity like a Pale Girl or Victoria, because Damon talks about how he felt like that character with Victoria was needed, but he didn't want it to overshadow Art the Clown because he doesn't need like a sidekick or nothing like that. But it seems like he definitely wants to bring someone else in, but it's just about who. That's why I said maybe Jonathan, if he's really dead. So if Jonathan ends up being like, you know, this entity that's helping Sienna, or Art the Clown, who knows which route he decides to go. You know, obviously Jonathan's dead because, you know, the whole formula with this evil entity, they need a vessel from one of Art's past victims to be brought into the world. But, you know, I heard a lot of crazy theories out there where people say they think that that's the guy with the box cutter, the head in the cage. That's not Jonathan. And that's fair because he did, you know, scalp everything from his face. But overall, I mean, it seemed like Jonathan, he could possibly really be gone. It just, I don't know, maybe it was just for shock value or something like that. But, and in the mall scene, we see Art the Clown give this little girl this Barbie doll. But in the beginning, you know, in the first 10 minutes, we see this little girl also have the same doll. So people are wondering, like, you know, how did he just get to this random house with this invasion scene? It seems to be they did like a little time jump through, you know, the present day of this film where he follows this child home from the mall, you know, with her parents and everything, and that's how it ends up being that scene with him creeping upstairs and, you know, taking out the kids. So he ends up, yes, following them from the mall, which makes it even more creepier. And I love this detail being shown throughout the film in this mall scene because it just makes everything connect. It seems more fluid. Like I said, pushing forward, man, I think with Terrifier 3, like I told you guys, this movie simply made Art the Clown a horror icon, and it's just a simple God honest truth. It made him a horror icon. They got, you know, #1 movie in America, and it's still climbing, bro. And to be honest, I'm gonna say it, Art the Clown is the new face of horror. He is. He's bringing horror back, you know, in a different way. You know, he's that slasher now that everyone's wanted. And, you know, back at that 80s slasher is back. You know, slashers are back now, and Art the Clown is carrying it right now. You know, he's everywhere. Where you see him, he's in Spirit. He's all types of places, and he's growing now. And I'm so happy for, you know, Damon and those guys because, man, Terrifier definitely deserves it. Art the Clown is like just up there now. You know, those Mount Rushmores, in my opinion, just because of what he's done in previous movies, and his franchise is so consistent, to be honest. And I just think it's going to just keep growing from here, especially what we're thinking about is going to happen in Terrifier 4. And I'm all for the ride, man. I'm really ready to, you know, really get involved with some more Terrifier. And like I said, man, it's even better when you know the story, when you understand the lore and, you know, Art's origins and all that. When you really understand that, it makes it a lot better because a lot of people, they're kind of confused. But this type of franchise is puzzling, so you got to sit there and watch all the movies and kind of look at everything, how it's puzzling together. And I think once you understand the story and lore of it, bro, this is one of the best horror franchises out there, to be honest. But that's just my opinion. So yeah, guys, comment down below how you feel about this extended cut. What could it be? Are you excited for Terrifier 4? What you think will happen? Comment down below. Unfortunately, this is the end of the video. I want y'all to hit me up on my social medias at ILIKESCARY. I want y'all to watch some horror movies. Stay scary out there. Peace.